sticker right there.
Okay. They apparently held on by a fused a wad of sperm. Daddy. So all these joints are thin, lightweight, real lightweight in the case of the flight deck, and really responsive in terms of how they all pop. They all have a level of rigidness to them, or strength and sturdiness that you feel. More so the flight. That motherfucker was up on that Blue Chew, up all night with no curfew. While this did not turn out to be the case, I almost thought that it may hurt. Maybe not right away, but mid or maybe during like a long session, especially when going off something, emitting too much impact. But nah, we good. The flight deck has a width of 8 1/4 inches, a length of 31.95 inches, wheelbase of 14.25 inches, a nose length of 6.88 inches, and a tail length of 6.63 inches. The flight deck has a round, rather full nose and tail, meaning it doesn't taper off or narrow up severely towards the tip. As you work your way up to the tip, What we talking about? Diddy almost popped in this bit up in this bitch. Let me check that ring camera again, see what the fuck. Oh, hold on, I'm not safe. There's more actual board, thus space, and you really see that what I'm talking about, like really emphasized when we look at this VX troll. That's motherfucker trolling. Nigga, that nigga trolling. You just call a skateboard and nigga, stop it. Now you really see what I mean. When we let the guy, that shit is whole shank right here. It's a whole, nigga, don't let me out in the yard, man. These niggas stole my cornbread, nigga. That I was gonna finish that.
So both of these are 8 1/4, but you're going to learn real quick what that tapered up tail does. Powell Peralta has a fuller tail. Pretty much just your standard. It doesn't severely lose its width towards the tips, the nose and the tail. So there's more board all the way through on this one versus this one where it's a whole different shape right there. That's probably what is it, a 2.4? Yeah, so I was able to get used to it though. I don't typically like this nigga here. This nigga, you just don't, cut it off. You don't cut it off. You wood chipper ass. Okay, this is inappropriate. Or we're making it inappropriate.
I would describe the kick of the nose and the tail as rather mellow, just like they describe it, but I will also concur that it is packed with pop. They ain't lying about that. Solid amount of kick to it too. Powell Peralta's K26 is a symmetrical double kick mold with a familiar medium to mellow concave. The redesigned nose and tail are set closer together than on the K20 and feature a larger radius, allowing for smoother, more precise flicks and a ton of pop. The DBX is also 8 1/4 in width. The length is 32 inches. The wheelbase is 14.38 inches. And the nose is 6.89 inches with a tail of 6.6 inches. The nose is fully round. Now I have some going on where I see a little bit of squareness in everything, every damn thing. Apparently board-wise, even to the smallest degree that may not even exist, it's a problem. It's a problem. But this is almost as round as can be. It's definitely round, like popsicle shaped, as in the tail with a little bit of pointing, not a point, but the normal hoopla you see with most tails in relation to the nose. The kick to the nose and tail is very rich, but also presents rather mellow. I really like this one. I really like this one. I do like the shape on it. I'm quite a fan of the shape.
Oh, there's my wheel. I was out my goddamn wheel popped up.
The VX. The pointy ass VX. The width is 8 1/4. The length is 31.83 inches. The wheelbase is 14 1/4. The nose is 6.90. And the tail is 6.48. The VX is very much pointed or sharp as hell, as as you seen. That shit sharp as hell, man. That shit sharper than blade. Motherfucker got drip, huh? At least for what I typically skate. But like I said, this became like the way it just hit. I don't know if I even said that yet, but this fucking stole the show. But with that point, like I said, I put a little text screen. Now I'm going to say it right. There's great scoopability, little hookage. You just get your foot in there and you just scoop it, and you just really helps with getting the board to turn over, because that back foot really scoops, and it gets the board to turn over in the event you're doing a trick where you want to turn over. So I was worried about big spins and 3 pops. Then I remembered I can't do those tricks anyhow. So come and we can categorize them as lame, stupid, dumb, and bully and gatekeep people who do them, okay? Because you don't want to scoop with a turnover or anything like that. And I pop my shit. I don't like the scooping ones like that. I put pop into my. So I thought it was gonna flip on me. I thought it was gonna flip on me accidentally. Like it's more susceptible to it. If you're anything like me, you definitely got to get used to that. The kick to this, man. They say that joint really is steep. It says mellow, but it's steep. It more so kicks up sooner than gradually. It's tons of pop, but you have to know how to harness that for sure, and put a little bit more effort in that. Putting a little bit more effort into enunciating your damn words. You got to put a little bit more effort in at first to get used to it, before it feels like any old, just a regular effort you got to put into a board, while giving you all the benefits of a steeper kickboard. You know what I mean? So basically, you may feel that struggle. You may feel the airballing. You go to pop, it doesn't quite pop, or it doesn't pop as hard as you went to pop. You know, I could have sworn I gave this bitch a 7, but the output I'm actually getting is like a 4 or something like that. That all goes away. Feels like business as usual, and in my case, this was phenomenal. It was incredible. Like, despite the shape, though, there's something like looking down at it that was so pointy that pisses me off. So just not even like in a functional, from like a functional standpoint, like how it actually performs, and then okay, you get used to it, that's cool. But visually too, I'm like already triggered just looking down at it. But again, like I said, it hands down became my favorite one to skate, even if, you know what I mean. It was something about the way the tricks like flipped themselves too. That's what it was, doing some extra shit. I was like, why is the board flipping so well? Like my tricks, the way they're popping, the way they're flipping, the way I'm catching them, the execution, like it was something different. So I'd imagine it's the shape. It's not going to be some goofy shit like, oh man, this board has got some magic crack rock over it. So it's not like the layers and molecular layers of the VX and the things in the VX, and it's not something really intrinsic to. There's no way they got some magic in this motherfucker. You got magic in there? You got the crack rock of all crack. You got a 1980s crack rock just preserved in that.
Is that what I think it is?
The ride process. Let's start with the DBX, or as I like to call it, the DB. We monetize now. Cool your jets. But also, we don't get views, so it don't matter. The DB sex, okay. Very mature. Good one, buddy. So I have no real complaints at all in terms of the feel of this board and how it rides and performs, nor with any of them. But I will note that this one is most definitely more flexible and right out the gate. That is most definitely going to be a factor. It may be a huge factor to anybody who is huge. Humongous ass niggas. You humongous. That flex or that bow was concerning at first, but after a month of hard skating, it turned out to be a non-issue. But again, for me, little old me, I'm not even little, I'm just not big. I'm 5'7", 180 pounds, like long walks on the beach and a tongue on the beach on a good day. And so I definitely come with some weight, to be clear, but the pop and tendency not to land on the bolts, and somehow typically most commonly and almost always when it's like a tech or a higher impact board, I just stay landing where I'm not supposed to land. But good thing no one's landing like that, right? We ain't landing like that now. None around here. We landing nothing bolts. Nothing but bolt. We don't do that. That's amateur hour.
So that end-to-end flex test, that one feels a lot, that one just completely feels healthy. It doesn't feel abnormal or like there's a extra amount of give. You can definitely look and judge that for yourself. But again, I don't feel like it's gonna break you.
But if you're taller and wider in your build structure, then yeah, you might not like that.
But fucker, if you're a big guy with a big back, you may be concerned about this. Maybe, maybe not. Again, I still don't feel like it's going to break. Still feels pretty healthy. Yeah, that's just sprung me back up. So that it's holding its shape for sure. I just want to skate a longer turn to see how it holds on to all of that. The structure of the wood, the strength, like the firmness and everything. So at this point, it's definitely stronger than most boards that I've had.
The pop. That being said, it is very much light, and the pop and flick is very responsive, crisp, if you will. Super snappy, it just feels good. Kind of like a normal board that's proper, but like not a normal board. Better than a normal board. No, really, I can't explain it, but there's some boards that I've been on, all same brand, same wood, same all that, but for whatever reason, it's just popping better. I don't know why. It's just popping better, and sometimes it won't be popping as good. But imagine one that's just popping better, and that's what it is, and then some. So there's a rich amount of pop to all these heifers. It's probably the rigidness as well as the thinness, thus lightness of the boards that give it that feel and all that. Oh, the DBX board, they say it skates and feels like a traditional board, and that's supposed to be some type of flex, maybe a little too much. Look at that bullshit. But for me, see, this is the problem. They all felt like I was skating off wood, so that's why I don't see this. I don't see it that way. But if you do notice some profound difference that has the others not skating like a traditional wooden deck, then that is a massive benefit for the DBX. Nothing too significant, but to each of their own. Maybe I'm tripping. But they all pop, flick like a board, skate like a board, and most importantly, I don't land any of my tricks like a board. I don't have that level of nerve divergency to notice such a thing, if it is the case, or maybe I have too much of it, and they all feel like wood to me. A true whore. Stiffy jiffy. The VX felt rigid, stiff, but not in a bad way, in a sturdy, reassuring way, as did the flight, but the flight felt like extra hard. But I really did wonder if it was hard like in a bad way and going to affect me on flat even, or off of something right away, or even as time went on, like skating like during a longer session, but 2 months passed and nothing. Flight concave. With the flight deck, man, that thing had concave. I thought I was going to trip just standing on it. No, but my foot was seriously banked up. You can rest it flat on that curve, but you're going to feel it under your foot. You're going to feel it curve up. You're going to feel it curve up. And actually did make me feel more locked in a sense. I was super curious to see if this was about to mess me up, and no. It felt crazy at first, and every time I stepped on it for a couple of days and it went away or flattened out, or you just get used to it. I never had concave like that before. Again, it felt locked in, and luckily it had a negative effect on me. My tricks, I was hitting them rather good, I would say. The big spins, they felt good. They probably look all the same, but the way they were feeling, I do attribute that to the concave. And at first I thought it flattened out, but as I stepped off it and then returned months later, giving it a break and skating other boards, I did feel it again. So you kind of just get used to it. And talk about it flattens out, maybe a little bit, but you sound stupid.
Put it flat and then push it up. Push it, you see it starting to kick up. It gets back flat.
Spacious nose. Now with the flight and DBX, we had that more full round, spacious nose and tail I yapped about earlier. It makes for a solid foot placement for your nollie tricks, in particular for me. The way my nose, my nollie nose slides, really, it just feels good. That's just a super personal moment of appreciation with such noses, at least for me. DBX nose is the complete opposite of the first two, so you get used to it. You can do all the same stuff, no doubt, but there's something about that preferred preference. I mean, it's a preferred preference, so of course there's something about it that you have an affinity towards, stupid. But again, I was able to lock in and find the right zone for the VX and the right foot position and everything like that. And nollie flips and all that jazz, they felt the jazz, all that jazz, really? Nigga, that's what you just said right now in 2025? It felt strange, but again, I got with it. It ended up working pretty darn good too, I would say. The tails, the tail on the flight is symmetrical, so it's the same as the nose. With the DBX tail, rather proper, solid pop, and again, a slight taper, as is normal. With the VX, like I said, with that extra taper or point, it had me worried my tricks were going to flip, and I thought it was going to be a barrier, but I got lucky. I didn't have to worry about that. Like, these big spins were perfectly fine. It's a stroke, nigga. Fine, but for a while I did feel, before realizing that they were going to flip on me. Like, that being said, the benefit of that point is helping me with my tricks that rely on that scoop and that flip, or like being able to grab the board, like 360 tricks. So 3 flips are magically delicious. My nollie 3s and backside 3s. I went from feeling like the frontside pops would flip over on me to having the best I've ever had. The pop on all of them is very generalized, which in this case is good. Now, a little bit of a autism moment. It's got to be. It's got to be a spectrum moment. But like, I feel like the richness of the color or graphic plays into the pop, and it just makes it really pop, and it just seems like I told you this was autism. Regardless, they all pop exceptionally well. They're very responsive, crisp, and audible every time you go to pop your nose or tail. What I feel to be an additional factor is how light all of them are, as well as sturdy and solid. As you touch all up on that tail and nose, and you just, yeah. Now it's wetness everywhere. So you have a good foundation to play off of when smacking that nose and tail, that solid wood smacking on that solid floor and on your solid jaw. I mean, just responds so well. A bit hyperbolic here, but imagine it was soggy. You get nothing. Now when it's hard, you obviously get like that rebound and force created from the solid surfaces responding to each other, creating that energy, translating into pop, and a responsive pop at that. So again, thin, lightweight, and not compromising in any way, potentially the DBX, but again, based on your size, I mean, I had no issues with it, and I stomped the hell out of that sumbitch. They all lost their pop. That's what done them in. My biggest issue is the price of the DBX, and then it only lasted a month in terms of holding its pop, which it absolutely does. It maintains its pop phenomenally well, but not for that price. And I got seriously 2 months out of the Flight and the VX before it went soggy, where you're just struggling to pop everything, and then it's really yourself, but you ain't. No, but when you got that ghost pop and that sponge pop, and it doesn't make the sound it's supposed to make when you smack wood on the floor.
Let me get the fuck off this motherfucker. This shit's shape-shifting anyways. It's definitely lost its pop by now. Just about hitting the 4th week. Motherfucker, that shit. Good thing my hands are built like I walk on them or some shit. God damn. That shit went straight into my shit. I thought it was gonna be a splinter. That shit stopped it. I only felt a tingle.
Oh my goodness, yeah, this whole is, oh my goodness. This one kind of starts here, and then that black layer is still there, kind of. Still definitely in razor telling, but it's not completely flat. This shit is just flat from this blue part on. Yeah, this is razor telling like more than any board I typically have. Magenta board. Oh, there's the tail. Yeah, so razor tail doesn't really have. This is. I haven't had it like that noticeable, that pronounced, and that quick. Remember, these are 2 months out. 2 months of skating, and I was heavy in the streets with these.
Hands down, the DBX got done up the quickest. Again, 1 month versus 2 months on the Flight and the VX. And I was running absolutely wild in the streets with all of these. I had miles like that homeless man shopping cart, but that somehow he built in a motor from scratch and fent. I'm pretty sure it's 6 plies with the DBX. Even if it isn't, I don't care. If it were 80, it clearly got done in at a faster rate. But nothing that impacted me too at all, really. So I'm not tripping off that. I'm tripping off the price, though.
Yeah, everything about it is still sturdy. Again, that wasn't my concern. I was able to imagine it wasn't some marketing bullshit to where they can increase the strength and the durability of it and the amount of tests they do with them. So again, that was never a fear. And with as much times as I landed every goddamn where but the bolts where I'm supposed to land and everything else, not one time did I even like have that moment, that split second moment where you feel like somebody just snuck up behind you with a straw and slurped one of your nuts out or some crazy shit. Like I never had one of those moments where you just pause because you got to process what the fuck just happened. Like, you don't know why, but it don't feel good. Okay, that might feel good. The scenario I laid out might feel, but fucking bitch. Oh my. So going over that brick actually did chip the board. God damn, the ashiness is crazy right now. From the top layer, the whole shit. This is the second day. I skated this damn park for like a half hour. That's not good. See what I'm saying? It's still susceptible to chips. It feels good, strong, and everything else. It probably won't break. But I mean, a bitch can chip up, and then you just sitting here stuck on something that's long lasting but fucking deformed and decrepit. All right, so this is like the only chip that's like came up, and even now, a good thing it hasn't popped up. But yeah, that's like the only real chip that's doing any real damage. I'm trying to find. I might have to find the nose. I think it was on the nose. Yeah, see, all else is pretty cool. But there was some part on the, where is it at? So this is the tail, so the nose. It had to have been the nose during the 100. Okay, there it goes. I don't know if you can quite see it. Good thing it didn't keep chipping up or coming up or anything. And I kind of like, I smoothed it. I smashed it away. It looks like it's been dented and smoothened out. It kind of fixed itself. So we got the VX, the DBX, and then the Flight at the end. Goodness gracious. Yeah, see, they were getting eaten up. What was that, the nose? Yeah, that was the nose. That's why they're super fucked up. Top down. Oh, and then this side is, ooh. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at this bitch, got a little fuzz going on. Oh, that's my pubic hair, nigga. Excuse me. Shit, matter of fact, where'd that go? I need that. Where that shit? Oh, that's my nut. Okay.
They're all boards and all capable of chipping, and that's what they did. But the DBX seemed like far off. It was not good. It was not good in comparison. It doesn't chip easy, to be clear, but it does in fact chip, just like a normal board would. Maybe a little bit better, I don't know. But with that price, no, you better hit way better than that. I mean, with the fact it's been 1 month on the DBX board versus 2 months on the VX and the Flight, it's just with far more street skating on the other two. It's just no comparison. So, anyways, I chipped the VX the first day, the bottom chip, and the Flight was the second day, a little bit.
Where is it at? Just because the shit's less susceptible to breaking, don't mean the bitch won't chip. Goodness gracious. Trying to switch big hill on that pyramid, nigga. It's not the move.
But that being said, they clearly do not chip easy in general. And I mean, they stood the test of time. They passed it with flying colors. So luckily, the quality of the wood, the build, the fiberglass, fiber ass, asbestos, whatever they got going on, not prove to chip easily, like I said. But again, I'm 2 months in now speaking. Before that time can conclude, like in the moment, I didn't know. I did not know. So I was shitting bricks. I was dropping bricks on my ass. I spent all that money, love the way they feel, and then boom. What was that? The brick. Just shit falling out your ass. Like Shaquille O'Neal out the free throw with something. I don't know. So definitely something to keep in mind if you're going to invest in any of these. I believe, again, the VX is probably more commonly the cheapest, coming in like at 100, 109 and upwards. And then the Flight, you can find some around that price, I believe. But the Flight and the VX are pretty much at the same. I mean, and the DBX are pretty much at the same price. So maybe the VX is hiked up to that price now. I don't know. But as far as I can see, I see the Flight and the VX, as far as like on sale goes, way more routinely. They've been around forever, so you could probably get one cheaper. Grab whichever one you can at whatever discounted price. But I'm in comparison, I'm not a fan of the DBX just based on that price.